Okay, so now that I put the receiver back together, replace the capacitors, replace the resistors, powered it on, it works fine. The receiver works fine. So what I want to talk to you about is the IF alignment. Now the IF alignment on most receivers, especially vintage receivers, um, depends on the sensitivity of the stations. If you're not picking up much stations, then you might need an IF alignment. On this specific receiver, mind you, now I replaced all the capacitors and all the resistors, including all the mica capacitors. So I replaced pretty much everything in there. So it's definitely going to need an IF alignment. As soon as I replaced everything, sure enough, the stations didn't come in as strong as I would have hoped for. So I went ahead and did a IF alignment. And what I did is I downloaded the manual, printed it up, and what you have here, pretty much instructions on how to do the IF alignment. All I'm going to do is just the IF alignment. I'm not going to worry about the general coverage alignment or the aligning these coils. All I want to do is the IF alignment for now, and hopefully this will bring the radio back to life. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you real quick the process of doing an IF alignment. I'm not going to go through step by step. I'm just going to show you what it entails and what it involves to do an alignment on this monster of a receiver. It's very easy, very basic. It's maybe like the 5th time I do an IF alignment on these nationals. There's some things you need to worry about if you do have a national like this and you do want to go ahead and do your alignment. Read the instructions. But like I said, it's very basic, very easy. You don't need any special tools. I'm going to show you up here what I have. I have a frequency counter, and I have my signal generator. Let me fix the camera here so you can see. So that's what I have, those two up there. So I have it set for the intermediate frequency. It's 455 kilocycles. That's what I have it set at. That's what we're going to use. And I have here my analog meter. And right underneath that, I have a little speaker. And that's for me to listen to the audio as I'm tuning, as I'm peaking the IF transformers. Now, it can get pretty loud. You can choose to use a dummy load, 8 ohm transistor across the output. You can do that. I've done that. It works fine, just as fine. You just don't hear the tone, but you can see the deflection on the meter. For me, that works much better than the tone. Sometimes I can't hear very well, so with the meter, it works better for me. So once again, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you the cans. Oh, I want to show you what I'm using, what you can use. I use one of these. So this is what I'm using to align it. An insulated flathead screwdriver. And there's one IF can that requires one of these sockets. Now it's very, very important that if you can use a plastic socket, I'm not sure if they have any, but if you can use a plastic socket, go ahead and do that. Or what I've done, I've taped all the metal part on this socket. And that's very important because there is one IF can that has power. And from experience, I didn't know that until I started going in and monkeying around with the IF can, and it gave me a nice shock, a nice jolt when I was touching this. And mind you, that little adjustment screw is really close to the chassis, to the metal can. So if you were to touch the metal can up against that little alignment screw, you're going to zap yourself, or you're going to blow up the receiver. So it's important that you isolate, maybe put some heat shrink or some tape, just like I did on this one right here. Okay, so this is the tools that I've used to align this. Now, we talked about the AC analog meter. Where is it? Right there. Signal generator cable. This is the cable I'm going to be using. I have this cable. Just a basic, hold on, let me see if you can see this. This cable right here with the alligator clip. Let me bring you over here. There's too much stuff going on up there. So this is what I have. I have this cable here with a blocking capacitor. It's a 0.1 microfarad at 600 volts. And that goes straight to the signal generator up there. Okay. So you're gonna need this. That's what I use. You can plug it in directly if you want to the test point, but I use a blocking capacitor and a ground. This is for ground, obviously, and this is to tap into where you want the signal to go into. That's pretty much it. So let's talk about the settings on this. I'm not going to talk to you about all the settings that need to take place. You can go ahead and read the instruction manual. Very simple, very basic. All you need to do to get this ready for an alignment. Let me focus. You want to go ahead and set your selectivity off. Phasing at 0. What else? Gain, you want that at 10. And the RF gain, you want that at 9 AM. You can put any coil you want. So that doesn't matter for right now. You want to put the CW, I have it at 0, limiter off. And you want to have the oscillator, the arrow pointing up, and the antenna trim pointing up. That's it. That's the settings you will leave it. Oh, the AVC, you leave that in off. And that's pretty much how you get started for the IF alignment. Now let me bring you in closer so you can see the IF cans. I've numbered them. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 or 7 IF cans to adjust. Let me show you where they are, okay? Okay, so these are the IF cans transformers you're going to be adjusting. This is the one I was telling you about. If you don't use an isolated isolation on this screwdriver and you accidentally do this, you're going to short this out. You're going to have a nice zap across that. So there is power across this. So these are the cans you're going to be adjusting. 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. And I want to show you where 3 is at. 3 is underneath this can on the other side of this box, aluminum box here. So that's the third capacitor you're going to be tuning to. And once again, that one you do need an isolation screwdriver to go in there. So what I use these screwdrivers right here. Now you want to start off with a metallic screwdriver. I've tried using a plastic one and they just don't spin. They don't turn at all. And what I've done the metal one, and then I've done the plastic one. And the metal, just when I tune and I twist, and I don't see a difference within the metal and the plastic. It stays the same. So I don't think it really bothers much of the alignment process if you use the metal. I prefer to use a plastic, but these are hard to twist. So let me flip it over so you can see number 2 capacitor underneath the receiver. Okay, so this is the underneath side of this beast. So the other capacitor I was telling you about, it's right here. That's number 3. And once again, if you try to monkey around and move this around, you are going to zap yourself. There is high voltage on that cap, on that tip. There is high voltage. Trust me, I know, because I zapped myself and I sparked across. First time goofing around with this, and I did create a large spark across that capacitor and chassis, and it did scare the jeebers out of me. That's pretty much it. Just a basic rundown on what the cans do you move to get the IF alignment going. Once again, it's very basic, very easy, simple. You just, I'm sure a lot of you have done the IF alignment. So I just wanted to show you where the capacitors are at. I'm not going to go through the whole process of aligning. It's very easy. You know, just like any other alignment, go on YouTube and type in radio alignment and something will pop up. It's the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Very easy. Look for the meter deflection. Look for the peak as you start moving these capacitors. Now, don't just go in there and start moving nilly-dilly. If you haven't done this before, I suggest you do some reading, some research before you start going in there and start moving things around. There's a lot of high voltage in here. You're looking at 300 plus volts, and if you zap yourself, it's going to sting. It might kill you, but it definitely will sting. So I suggest read up about it, maybe practice. Do what I did, number all the capacitors on top, all the transformers, and go step by step and just go aligning one at a time, and practice and do a lot of research. After I did the alignment on this radio, it definitely came back to life. It's very, very sensitive. I have a 2-foot wire across the shed, and it picks up a lot of stations on that little piece of wire. It was really off of alignment, maybe because I replaced all the capacitors and all the mica capacitors and all the resistors. All the resistors have been replaced with higher end or carbon composite resistors. But everything works beautifully. It's very sensitive. I can't wait to put this on my bench, on my desk at home, and run a cable outside and a wire across the roof, and hopefully get some DXing going on. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, just the capacitors, the transformers, where everything's at. My experience was a little, when I first did the alignment, it was trial and error. But after a while, just follow protocol as far as safety. Be cautious as far as where you're putting your screwdriver. Make sure your screwdriver is insulated, and I should be fine. Anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching.